So today we are going to learn the unusual story of how, why to care about the health insurance and when to care about it, and why it is not only important to care about it while being on the being ill or on the bed. Halimah, could you please introduce yourself and why did you start this business?
Well, I'm Halimah, health advisor, Halimah Raheem, but I became a health advisor, left retail 23 years in store management, and I left because my sister was diagnosed with metastatic bone cancer. But when she got sick, she didn't have any health insurance. So she was going into urgent care. And in the United States, everybody says they can't turn you away. Um, they have to help you. But if you're not bleeding out, they can't physically see wounds. They're not going to run any real tests or really assist you. They're going to guess. So tell me what's going on with you. What's wrong with you? So they're going to guess what's going on with you and what's wrong with you. So at that point, she came in and she says, I'm having some pains in my hip and I need to know what's going on. They said, oh, let's see if a steroid shot will loosen that pain up and help you a little bit. And it did. It worked for 2 months. She came back and said, the pain is a little bit worse. I need you guys, steroid shot last time. The cancer. So we're going to jump to December because this was the summer of 2013. And we jumped to December where she laid on the floor December 27th all day from the morning to my mom called my nephew that night and said, I'm just hurting. I'm in pain. I can't move. I can't walk. And my mom said, Samir, I need you to go to the hospital. She said, Mom, I can't move. I can't move. So my mom called my nephew who was at work and said, your mom's been laying on the floor all day. She's in pain. Can you please ask them, can you leave work so you can go take her to the hospital and let me know where you're taking her? And my nephew, he left, he went home and he said, Mom won't let me take her. And my mom said, call the ambulance, let them take her to the hospital, tell me where they're taking her. And my mom showed up at the hospital. My sister went in on a stretcher. When my mom got there, they were releasing her. So my mom said, did y'all run any tests on my child? And they said, well, no, she doesn't have any insurance. She said, I know what she don't have. My mom, she speaks her mind. And she says, can you run any tests? And they said, we could do a PET scan or MRI, but that'll be $1,000. So my mom took her credit card out, threw it on the counter, said, run the test. And she said, when they came in to talk to her, she said the screen lit up because my sister's bones were covered with cancer. And we found out that it was breast cancer that metastasized to her bones. And they gave her 4.5, 5 years left to live. Okay, I get a little emotional when I tell the story, so my apologies. But at that point, I really, really believe that if she had insurance, they would have ran the proper test, at least drew some blood to figure out that her bilirubins were off or her counts were out of whack. But they didn't do any of those. They just were like, okay, let me guess and see what's going on. So when she passed in 2018, it was difficult because we joked about growing old, sitting on the porch, laughing, pointing at people as they walked down the street as we got older, because women in our family lived to their 80s and 90s. So no one had ever gotten diagnosed or sick in our family's history. And for her to pass so young, it was just very, very devastating. Okay.
Yeah, really sorry for that. So my next question is, what services do you work on?
I help with health, life, dental, vision, and anybody who does not understand health insurance. I just try to talk to everybody. People do not understand the networks. They don't understand the coverage you need. They don't understand that you need it while you're healthy. It's a little less expensive. When you get diagnosed with something and already have a pre-existing condition, it's very difficult to get help. I remember how my sister struggled trying to find somewhere to go being sick and trying to find help when she got diagnosed with cancer. So I explain it all. Any questions you have, I can talk for hours to help you understand it and know the importance of having it.
And is there a certain age you are propagating this idea to?
I do talk to anyone from 18 to 64, but I try to reach the younger crowd. So my nephews, they're just turning 19, 20, 25. So they're in that age and they're like, I don't need health insurance. I'm young. And for two of them to be my sister's sons who passed, they should know the importance of health insurance because it was very difficult to see their mom go through that. So I try to hit you while you're young enough to understand. If you can't afford to have something catastrophic happen to you, have coverage for it. So a lot of people say, I'll just go pay and go to the doctor. That's fine. But if you got diagnosed with something like heart attack, cancer, stroke, can you afford the treatment that you would need to be able to take care of yourself? And that's what health insurance is for. The what if something major happened. Now, if you can afford it, you don't need it. If something happens, you make 400, 500,000 a year and you won't be depleted in your funds and you can just go to the doctor, say, give me the best treatment. That's perfectly fine. But if that's something you can't do, get coverage. And if you have to get a GoFundMe, if you pass away, get life insurance. So make sure you have something so your family's not stressed and struggling if you're not here anymore.
Sure. What are the benefits of subscribing to this service currently?
Well, with the health insurance, the only benefit if you got diagnosed with something. Most people say nothing's going to happen to me, but you can wake up tomorrow and get hit by a bus and not be here. Most people think something's going to happen to me and I'm going to be gone. My sister had 4.5 years of going through chemo and radiation. So it's not overnight where it's just, I'm sick, I'm gone. You don't know how long it'll last, how long you'll have it. I have a friend right now whose mom has been fighting cancer for 13 years. And so now it's come back more aggressively and they've given her a month and a half left because it has reached her brain. So you just don't know. That's 13 years. It can be overnight. It can stretch out over years. You just want to make sure your family's not in a bad place. So the benefit is to have it so you're not stressed and going bankrupt because you can't afford the bills that would be created if you were sick.
What are the different types of coverage?
Well, it depends. So in the United States, we have Medicaid, we have Marketplace, that's Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act, and then you have public and private plans. So it's so vast, but it's not a one size fit all. A lot of people say, I want this health coverage, but it's not one size fit all. So you look pretty young. So if I were looking at you and say you needed health coverage, you look pretty healthy. You probably don't need anything very extravagant. So if you're not sick a lot and you say, okay, just in case something happened to me, maybe you just need a cancer, heart attack, stroke policy. If you don't go to the doctor often, I do suggest at least go and get checked up once or once a year at least to make sure everything's functioning properly. But if you're young and you rarely go, you can get a what if plan. You don't pay a lot out of pocket and you just go for the doctor visits and just have something to fall back on in case something happens to you. Even if you just have a teledoc service where you're talking to a doctor because something happened to you and they can say, well, what's going on? Okay, I think you need to go to the doctor to get that checked out. So it's very inexpensive on one side, and it can be very expensive if you have a lot of history of issues going on in your family.
What is your main message through this work?
Just get coverage. learn about it. And if you don't want to learn about it, call me. I'll tell you about it. My number's right behind me. Can you see it? 313-595-4722. Call me. I will talk all day about the importance of health coverage, because if you don't just understand it, I just want you to understand it, because my sister was a free spirit. Okay, my mom taught us, if you can't afford it, get insurance for it. That's how she raised us. She grew up in the country in South Carolina. If you can't afford to take care of it yourself, get insurance for it. Dave Ramsey teaches you insurance is a waste of money. That's if you're rich. If you're rich, it's a waste of money. If you're not, you need something to fall back on. So I would say make sure you have something in place in case something happens. When my sister came to the end of her life, she didn't have funds for a funeral. She didn't have funds for the doctor bills. And we pulled together and we helped. But how many people do you know have somebody that will help them in that time of need? I'm not going to let any of my family go without, whether I go without or not. But you want to make sure you have coverage and your family's taken care of. It's already stressful enough with the environment in the world we live in. This one little tiny thing you have to do, just make sure your family's okay. If you're not looking out for you and your family, who's looking out for you and your family?
Yeah, certainly.
I am.
What else would you like to add about this important topic?
Well, teach it. If like I said, just teach it. I realized over the years, I never realized until I left retail the importance of health insurance. If my sister never would have got sick, I wouldn't have ever been affected to this point. I don't want people to hurt like I hurt. I miss my sister with everything in me. When I say crazy, kooky, lovable, bubbly, happy, go lucky, I'm going to live my life to the fullest. But what she told me was the day the doctor told us she had 2 weeks left to live. She said, "Why do you want to go to Arizona?" My sister was planning to go to Arizona with her son. "Why do you want to go to Arizona? Is that where you want to die?" I said, "Excuse me?" She says, "She'll be dead in 2 weeks, give or take a few days." That's how they told us she had 2 weeks left to live. And it was the most gut-wrenching thing to ever sit through. And to hurt that way, to think my sister will not be here in 2 weeks. We went to her house that night and I laid on the bed and she said, "Halimah, I've always looked up to you, but you are dedicated to the wrong people. You've been in retail for 23 years, working a job, trying to get promoted. I was a store manager in a tool store, and I wanted to be a district manager. And my district manager kept saying, be careful what you ask for." Now I'm helping him run the surrounding 6-7 stores, but he keeps telling me, be careful what you ask for. You're not ready. So he wasn't going to promote me. She said, "You give too much of yourself and they don't appreciate you." She said, "Don't be like me. Don't wait till you find out you're dying to live." And that just sat and resonated in me, because I sat in this box. I'm here. This is what I want. I'm going to be in corporate America. I'm going to be a district manager. I've been here 10 years. And she said, "Don't wait to find out you're dying to live. Do something you absolutely love, because you always had a servant heart." And to hear her say that the day she found out she was not going to be here very much longer, it just sat with me. So I said, I'm going to live. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to have a purpose, a message to talk to people, to let them know that I love and miss my sister, but she was very wise. Don't wait till you find out you're dying to live. And so she passed away. I walked out of 23 years of retail and started helping people with health. Not only did I do that, but I went to travel the world that following year. So I went to New York, I went to Italy, we went to Dominican, I took my mom to North Carolina. I just traveled. And I have a little locket with my sister, and she went with me everywhere I went that year. So it's just to know we're not promised another day. But while we're here, we need to reach out and help each other. The world is selfish, full of individuals worried about themselves. And sometimes I wish I was a selfish person, because I see how mean and how ignorant the world can be. Just because of my name, I get some of the most horrible things spewed to me. And I think we are all put here and placed here to help each other. And when she passed, I just said, I don't care who likes me, who don't. I'm going to show them who I am. I'm going to let them know we are all the same. We all bleed the same blood. So we're going to come together because we are the world. We have to each one teach one, each one be here for each other. And it has been a journey I would never take back, but I absolutely love the fact that I jumped out on faith and decided to do it. So it's been a blessing. So like I said, don't be afraid to just help each other, to talk to each other. I have met some wonderful people in fields I never thought I would be able to meet, just jumping out here, and learn so much from each person. So it's a beautiful journey. Don't be afraid to live. That's what I tell people. Make sure you take care of your family first, and then get out there and share and teach and do. Just be there for each other.
It has been more than exhilarating and more than insightful talking to you, Halimah, today. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.